Subscribe to this channel Techie Paddy and click that bell icon button to be the first ones to receive the latest updates about the latest videos on this channel Techie Paddy. Hey guys, this is Noel Padgaonkar here from Techie Paddy. So in this video, I'll be talking about the highlights of the event WWDC 2017 which took place on 5th of June 2017. So sit back and enjoy this video. Let's go! So before we begin, for those of you who might be wondering what is exactly WWDC? So WWDC is an annual conference which is organized by Apple. The full form of WWDC is Worldwide Developers Conference. In this conference, Apple showcases its latest products and it gives latest updates about the latest operating system, etc. etc. It's also called a keynote. So whatever events have taken place in this WWDC 2017 have been listed out in point form on the sheet of paper, which I'll be covering with you guys soon. So without wasting further time, let's start. So let's begin with the iPad Pro. What's new? A new 10.5 inches screen which has a new Retina display and it has a new refreshing rate of 120 GHz from the standard 60 GHz. And because of this new refreshing rate, Apple says that you can enjoy playing games and watching videos at a higher quality. The next thing is the processor. It's a new processor, that's the Fusion A10X 64-bit architecture processor. Apple says that this processor is capable of rendering 4K videos on the iPad itself. And after the introduction of this processor, the graphics speed and the CPU speed has been increased. The next thing is the camera. It's a 12 megapixel rear camera and a 7 megapixel front camera. The battery life is 10 hours and the fingerprint sensor response time has been increased twice. So the next thing is an introduction of a new technology called ProMotion. What this does is it reduces the latency of the Apple Pencil by 20 milliseconds, making it much more responsive to use on your iPad. So I think that's all you guys must know about this new iPad Pro. So let's get moving with the new iOS 11. So let's start with the iOS 11. What's new in this iOS 11? So basically, initially there will be the improvement in bug fixes and adding of new features. But what new features? So I've listed on some new features like an update to Siri. So basically Siri will be able to translate into different new languages and it will be able to do lots of other new stuff along with what you have been doing. And also there's a new dock where you can keep your apps and all that stuff. And also Apple has introduced finally a new Files app where you can able to store your files, you can view your files, etc. and all that stuff. Then there's an improvement in the multitasking. This is only available for the iPad, and for the iPad users it's going to be a really great news, and multitasking is going to be really awesome on this devices using iOS 11. The next thing is an update to AirPlay, that's AirPlay 2, so you'll be able to control your other stuff which you are using AirPlay, for example your speakers and all that, which is soon will be available by other third-party companies like Bose, JBL, etc. The next thing is automatic DND. What is automatic DND? Consider you're driving and you know while driving it is dangerous to pick up your phone. So what this iPhone or your iPad will do is it will sense that you are in motion or you're driving, so it will automatically activate DND and always keep your iPhone screen blank, and it will not show you any notifications, etc. Next thing is the drag and drop. Now since I've talked about multitasking, now if you want to drag and drop, for example you have an email here and you have your photos here, you want to transfer one of your photo to your email, you can transfer it just like this into this app immediately. The next thing is the inline drawing. I have talked previously on this about the iPad Pro, about the new ProMotion. So what has happened is since the Apple Pencil is much more responsive, you can use it everywhere, even in your mail. You can include all your drawings also, what you have drawn on your iPad, and include them in your mail. The next thing is such an amazing feature, the introduction of augmented reality, that is an AR kit. The next thing is about the OCR way. That means the Notes application will now be able to click a picture of your document. For example, this is my document. I click a picture, and using OCR technology, it will be able to inline the document in a proper way, just like other apps do, like Cam Scanner, Adobe Scan, etc. The next thing is the introduction of a new control center for both the devices, your iPad as well as iPhone. So it will be like everything is on one page. Like if you remember on iOS 10, on one page is the control center, and then the next page is the music player. So everything is combined into one. So another thing, it's a new feature which is going to be introduced in Apple Maps. It's the indoor maps. Basically, like for example, you know that you go around in the malls, but for example, you want to go to some particular shop. So with the help of this technology, this indoor map feature, you will be able to see your map of your respective mall, and you'll be able to go anywhere. But I don't think this will be available in India very soon. So that's all about the new iOS 11, and it will be soon coming to your devices. It starts from the iPhone 5s to the devices above it, and for the iPads too. So let's get moving with the introduction of the new iMac. So let's begin with the iMac. So the two sizes available will be 21.5 inches and 27 inches. So the 21.5 inches will be a 4K display, and the 27 inches will be a 5K display. So that's really amazing. Now we're coming to the processor. So there'll be a new i5 and i7 processors which will be used in this iMac. And for the 21.5 inches, the clock speed will be around 3.6 GHz, and you can have the turbo boost up to 4.2 GHz. Whereas for the 27 inches one, you have a clock speed clock to about 4.2 GHz, and you can have a turbo boost from 4.5 GHz. So the next feature is the debut of virtual reality, meaning that you will be able to edit and render virtual reality videos. That means your 360 videos using your Apple software, that is like the Final Cut Pro, etc. on your iMac. So that's great. Now you might be knowing that Apple also uses SSDs for its devices. So iMac had been using HDDs initially, hence it was very heavy. But now, because of the introduction of an SSD in this iMac 2, which is around 3 TB in size, the size of this iMac has been reduced and it is much more lighter. So I have talked about the iMac, and rest all is the new Mac OS Sierra, which I'll be talking about later in this video. And so what's new is the introduction of another model called the iMac Pro. So guys, let me tell you, hold your breath. iMac Pro is the iMac which has an 18-core Xeon processor. Anyways, it is going to have a turbo boost up to 4.5 GHz, and instead of a 3 TB SSD which was in the iMac, this will have a 4 TB SSD, and it's going to be obviously 5K, and it is going to have the same Mac OS Sierra. Mac OS High Sierra, which is the new Mac OS which is introduced by Apple, and it will be out on your devices soon. So let's get going with this operating system, Mac OS High Sierra. So whoever might be using your Apple product like the MacBook Pro or your iMac might be running on this operating system, that's the Mac OS Sierra. And now what has Apple done is introduce another version. It's called the Mac OS High Sierra, HIGH Sierra. Funny name. Anyways, so what's new in this is the introduction of the new Apple file system. If you remember from my previous video where I had talked about iOS 10.3 in your iPhones, where the new file system had been introduced in that, similarly it has been introduced now in this devices, that's your iMac, your MacBook Pro, your MacBook Air, etc. The next thing is a bit of an important feature which I should highlight. You might be knowing that if you are reading something and suddenly some unknown video pops out and you are unable to stop it, or you're like, oh come on, why does it all the time autoplay? So there have been introduced these security features in Safari, that's the browser of Apple, where all these nonsensical videos which keep on popping up unnecessarily will be avoided. This is introduced in this Mac OS High Sierra as well as in iOS 11. So let's get moving with the new devices, that's the MacBook Pro and the MacBook. So let's talk about the MacBook Pro. So this also has new processors like the i5 and i7, and it will be they'll be clocked to around 3.6 gigahertz, and you will have a turbo boost up to 4.5 gigahertz. Also, these devices will be also having a 10-hour battery life, and there is an introduction of a new Touch ID in this MacBook Pro. So along with the touch bar, if you might remember from the previous MacBook Pro launches, there is an introduction of a new Touch ID. So you do not need to enter your password on just your Touch ID, and your MacBook opens, and whatever you can do and highlight your security stuff. The next thing is about the MacBook, and it will be containing an i7 processor, and it will be having the turbo boost up to 3.6 GHz. So let's get moving on with this new Watch OS. If you remember Apple Watch, it has various OS updates, OS 2, OS 3 and all that stuff. This is the OS 4. What's new in this Watch OS 4 is it has new clock faces, and also there is fitness focusing update. So whatever you do related to your fitness etc. will be monitored by this Apple Watch with the help of this new Watch OS. Also, now there's a feature where you can play your music via this Apple Watch on your iPhone etc. The next thing is a totally different device. If you guys remember what is Google Home or Amazon Echo, these devices are basically connected to your Wi-Fi, and then they kept it on one side of the table, and wireless you can tell them that what's the weather for today, or call this or that etc. So finally, after Google and Amazon, here comes Apple with its HomePod. It has the Apple Design A8 processor in it. So it also has this voice command that is Siri itself. So where you can say, hey Siri, what's the weather for today? And it will answer you back with your respective result. And also there's a new feature in this product is that if you keep it on one side of the room, it will sense the width of the room with the help of its sensor, and then increase or decrease the intensity of the music. And last but not the least, introduction of the new App Store. So there'll be new introduction of new tabs, and also there's a new feature which is introduced. Like for example, there is an application and you're unable to use, or you're unsure, okay, what is this app and which are the best apps. So there are inbuilt articles in this App Store itself where you can refer these articles and then refer to the app etc. So that's all for what has happened in this WWDC 2017 event. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm now sure you'll be aware of what all happened in WWDC 2017. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed or this is your first time, my name is Noel Padgaonkar and this is my channel Techie Paddy. Do subscribe. If you have any comments or any feedback, please do leave it in the comment section video, and please share this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video.